Good day, Prof Skills. This is Lecture 12, and today we're going to be discussing coaching, counseling, and mentoring. So, at many different points in your life, you're going to find yourself in the position to either receive or give coaching, counseling, and mentoring. And one of the things that makes this process successful is the willingness to give and receive. Both recipients need to be happy to receive and give mentoring for it to succeed. The topics that we're going to cover today are going to include helping others, finding the source of the problem, unconditional positive regard, meaningful feedback, and this is going to require you to look back on the lecture on feedback, coaching, counseling, and mentoring. So please complete the self-assessment exercise on page 159 and download these slides from Cole Campus and read the article at the following URL. Please do all of this, so pause this slide and then play it when you are done. So the skill concepts involved in today's class is that in a position at work, whether you are in a management position or you're an employee, helping people become better at their jobs and becoming better at your job is a role that we all have to undertake. Often it's the manager who notices this because they are best placed to notice gaps in an employee's knowledge or skill. And as a manager, you can also help them fill these gaps. And this really does result in a win-win for everyone, as it provides improvement at an individual as well as an organizational level. Obviously, a manager, if they are in charge of 100 people, they won't be able to do all of the mentoring. But peer mentoring is something that is an excellent alternative, or just mentoring from people who have been at the organization a little bit longer than what you have, because people do feel more inclined to learn from people who they consider equals, rather than just simply being lectured by managers. So mentoring comes from a whole lot of different levels, and the most important thing you can do is be open to it. We always need to be open to learning. So helping others is one of the skill concepts. And the aim of this section is really to empower and develop others by helping them resolve problems that are both professional and personal. There are a few different methods involved in coaching others, depending on whether it's for performance problems, for personal problems, and mentoring for long-term professional success. So please just take a quick read through page 160 of your textbook, because these pages will help you clarify the difference between coaching, counseling, and mentoring. The first step, whether it's a personal or professional problem, is to always find the source of the problem. This is always going to be your first step, no matter what the problem is. And this is because unsatisfactory performance can have lots of different sources. Some of these can be within the person's control. Some of them are outside of the person's control. And I ask you again to recall the lecture on feedback. So in order to find the source, you can ask a couple of the following questions. And this will also give you a starting point of where to go from here. So first of all, is the person aware that their performance is being affected? If they aren't aware, you can start by providing feedback on the performance that is being affected, and from where you're standing, what the gaps are. Next, you can ask them, does the poor performance occur because they are not entirely sure what is expected of them? If this is the case, you can clarify your expectations of them. Third, is their performance hampered by obstacles outside of their control? If this is the case, discuss how you can remove these obstacles or creative ways of getting around these obstacles. Fourth, does the person have the knowledge and training to do their job? And if they don't have the knowledge and training, you need to provide training and coaching to assist them in this. Next is good performance followed by negative consequences? If yes, discuss how to remove these, and I'll give you an example of this in a minute. Or is poor performance followed by positive consequences? If yes, determine how to eliminate this positive reinforcement. So here's an example. You started a company at exactly the same time as another person. You have similar roles, similar qualifications, similar ages, similar experience. Everything pretty much is equal. You are incredibly good at your job, and you tackle all of your tasks with confidence and aptitude. You do them quickly, on time, while the other person does not. What happens is after a short while, you notice that although nothing else has changed, You are allocated more than the other person because you're better at your job than what they are. Is this fair? So this is an example of two different things. Good performance is followed by negative consequences. In your case, yes, you're performing well. The negative consequence is that you are getting too much work or more work than what you can handle. And the second one is from the other person's perspective, their poor performance is being followed by positive consequences. So what is happening here is that they are not really doing everything that they're supposed to, and they're getting rewarded for it by not getting as much work as what you are. You are taking the load off of them. One of the things that you have to exhibit as a manager, and you should actually do this in life, it's called unconditional positive regard. And what this means is that no matter what happens, what your employee says, you need to treat them with respect and compassion. Even if you don't like them, even if you don't get along with them, even if you feel like they're not doing the best job, we still have to treat other people with compassion and with respect. So as a manager, you need your employees to realize that you won't judge them. Nothing can happen to make you judge them. This is what unconditional positive regard is. You have to accept them for who they are and treat them with warmth and kindness so that they feel like they've got self-worth around you. Even if they do need some improvement in some areas, they still feel like they are worth something. What this does is provides a climate of safety. The person feels that they are able to make mistakes and recover from them. And because of making those mistakes, they can grow with your help. And this also develops trust. Please read Exhibit 1 on page 161 and Exhibit 2 on 162. Write down a little bit of personal feedback to the person about what the consequences of their action are so that they might be able to learn and modify their behavior. If you need to, please refer back to the section on feedback. So pause the class here, go and read those exhibits and write some feedback for them and play again when you're done. So first, we're going to talk about coaching, then counseling, then mentoring. And what coaching is a process to improve performance. It's an ongoing process, and it helps people to improve any area that they are not performing too well in. So what a coach does is that they analyze performance and provide insight into how to improve. They offer leadership, they offer motivation, they also offer a supportive climate. As a coach, it's your job to provide instruction, guidance, advice, and encouragement. It's not so different from a sports coach when you think about it. And 3 of the top ways of doing this are seek ways to improve their performance, figure out ways with them that they can improve upon their performance. As a coach, creates a supportive climate. They can come to you with their problems, with their mistakes, with anything that they've done wrong, and you're not going to judge them. And then also to influence others to change their behavior. So you need to be influenced to change your behavior. We generally don't change behavior unless we have a really good reason for doing it. For more information on these methods, please read over pages 162 to 163 of your textbooks. So this is coaching to improve performance. Now we're going to talk about counseling to resolve personal problems. Counseling is the discussion of an emotional problem that will aim to resolve it or help the person better deal with it. You are probably not a qualified counselor. I imagine some of you might be, but unless you have a degree in counseling or psychology, you can't really do too much more other than listen to that person. You can try and help them, but it's best not to give people direct advice because that might not be the right advice for them. It might be the right advice for you, but you have to realize that people are different. So just listen to them, first of all. That's a really good way of helping any person. You can also try and see or discover what the problem is and ask questions to help them come up with their own solution. Importantly, it needs to be their solution. It can't be your solution because, like I said, you might be very different from them. Clarify what their feelings are, what their thoughts are. Just listen, because for them, this can be cathartic in itself. And if you aren't sure what the word cathartic means, please look it up. If you want to post what it means on the Cole Campus discussion boards, please go ahead and do that. Next is to be supportive and to provide reassurance. Don't be judgmental. So that was coaching to improve performance, counseling to resolve personal problems, and mentorship for long-term development. And this is the role that you are probably going to be in on either side of during your career. So the role of a mentor is to provide another person with help for achieving their long-term career goals. And hopefully many of you will be assigned a mentor in your experiential learning placements. I really hope that you are still working on finding a placement for these. If you have any questions about this, please don't hesitate to get in touch. In a mentorship relationship, you'll be paired up with a more experienced person that you can learn from. And in time, you will definitely become a mentor for someone less experienced than yourself. Even if it isn't a formal mentor, you will find yourself in a position of teaching somebody, showing someone the ropes of the organization that you work in. Being a mentor really means that you function as a person's long-term coach and counselor. And many companies use this kind of mentorship system because as a mentor, you do have to help people with short-term performance problems, and you definitely will have to deal with their emotional problems too, because people are whole packages. We aren't robots. So a couple of things that a mentor can do is that they can help reduce your stress for entering into a new workplace. They can help you with the technical aspects of the job. They can help introduce you to what the company culture is, and they can be your touch point, somebody who you can just go and ask questions if you need information. If you are being mentored and also in your experiential learning, the important thing is to be teachable. You always have a lot to learn, not just you, everybody. We can learn from every single situation, and it's up to us to recognize that. Everyone can teach you something, no matter who they are, no matter their background. We can learn from everybody, so it's important that you are teachable. Please complete the concept quiz on page 164, as well as the modeling exercise on page 165. And here's our behavioral checklist for coaching, counseling, and mentoring. In order to help others improve, we should ask questions to help discover sources of the problem, actively listen and show genuine interest, demonstrate unconditional positive regard by suspending judgment, seek to educate, accept mistakes as learning opportunities, provide meaningful feedback for learning, encourage continual improvement, recognize and reward all improvements, model the behaviors desired. Make sure you do this. Don't be the kind of person who says, do what I do, or do what I say, not what I do. And help develop action plans together. In the next class, we're going to go through one of my favorite methods of coaching. I use it a lot in my personal and professional life and with students too. Please go and do some research before the next class about what this acronym means and see if you can put it into play into your life. Thanks for coming to this class, everyone. See you next time.